It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update, as it looks like the Wednesday Night Wars are coming to an end. But first, let's take a look at the card for tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite from Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. Shaquille O'Neal will make his in-ring debut for AEW, teaming with Jade Cargill to take on Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. 67-year-old Tully Blanchard makes his first in-ring appearance for the first time since August 2007 as he teams with his clients FTR, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler in a 6-man tag match against the Jurassic Express, of course Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy and Marko Stunt. Could Tully be swapped out for another certain T Blanchard, with his daughter Tessa making her AEW debut? It's quite unlikely, but it certainly would be a good way for her to debut, taking out Marko Stunt. And they could say something like the contract reads T Blanchard, but I'm not talking about Tully. And yeah, you know what I'm saying. Let me know what you think of that in the comments down below. Paul White will be interviewed by Tony Schiavone in the Giants' first appearance on AEW television. The AEW Women's Tournament final will go down after Nyla Rose's win over Thunder Rosa this week to top the USA side of the bracket, and she will battle the winner of the Japanese bracket, Ryo Mizunami. The winner of that will go on to face Hikaru Shida at AEW Revolution this Sunday for the AEW Women's Championship. Matt Hardy and Mark Quinn will team up against Hangman Page and John Silver ahead of Hardy and Page's single match at the pay-per-view. The Inner Circle's Chris Jericho and MJF will hold a press conference ahead of their AEW tag title match against the Young Bucks this weekend. And finally, the Dark Order's 10 will take on Max Caster in a qualifying match, with the winner being added to the face of the Revolution ladder match at the pay-per-view. And I'm a big fan of this match, as I see something special in Max Caster. He's got a certain charisma, and of course his rapping ability makes him stand out from the crowd. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on in singles action tonight. Of course, the winner of the ladder match this Sunday will receive an AEW title match against Darby Allin somewhere down the line. The match will have 6 participants, and already qualified are Penta El Zero M, Lance Archer, Cody Rhodes and Scorpio Sky. And Tony Khan has teased that the final participant will be saved for the pay-per-view, and we could potentially see a debuting surprise appearance. Who do you think it could be? And let me know in the comments what you're most looking forward to on tonight's show, and be sure to keep an eye on the channel for my AEW Revolution preview and predictions over the next couple of days. And we're going to be running a new segment here, and it's going to be called the News Rundown, and we're going to go through a few quick stories from the last few days since the last video. And first, former WWE tag team Enzo and Cass returned to wrestling this week, showing up at a Lariato Pro Wrestling show, which is ran by Impact Tag Team Champion Luke Gallows. Big Cass and former LAX member Hernandez came to the aid of Enzo, who was on the receiving end of a beatdown. The show aired on Impact Plus, which is Impact Wrestling's streaming service. Both men are still said to have supporters in WWE, despite being released from the company under controversial circumstances. Jon Moxley and KENTA finally went one-on-one for Moxley's IWGP Championship at New Japan New Beginning USA this past Friday. To the surprise of many, Jon Moxley retained, with most fans expecting a new champion to be crowned. KENTA has been calling Moxley out for months and recently showed up on AEW Dynamite to hunt him down, officially marking the opening of the forbidden door between New Japan and AEW. It's currently unknown if the two will meet again at some point in the future. And speaking of New Japan, the promotion have confirmed that the IWGP Heavyweight Championship and the IWGP Intercontinental Championship will be unified, with a new belt being established. This belt will be known as the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Kota Ibushi is currently the holder of both belts and will make his first defense of his new title against the winner of the New Japan Cup. And with the rundown out the way, let's get to our final story, as we are now 18 months into the Wednesday Night War between All Elite Wrestling and NXT, with the two shows going head to head on Wednesday nights almost every week since the 2nd of October 2019. And if you're enjoying the video so far, why not help me out and drop a like down below, and also subscribe as we try to reach 10,000 subscribers. But let's get back to the news. Of course, AEW Dynamite airs on TNT, the former home of WCW Nitro, with WWE's third brand, NXT, airing on the USA Network. As it stands, the overall viewership for weekly ratings sees AEW massively in the lead, having won the overall viewership 58 times compared to NXT's 9. There has also been 2 ties in this regard. In terms of the 18 to 49 demographic, which is what advertisers track in order to decide where to place their ads, AEW has stormed ahead with 68 victories to NXT's embarrassing 1. It now seems that the two shows may no longer be running on the same night, with the USA Network eyeing up a brand new time slot for WWE's Gold brand. This follows news of the National Hockey League heading to USA after the closure of the NBC Sports Network. Coverage of the NHL is traditionally on Wednesday nights, which means that they will likely take priority over NXT. This move has been talked about for the past month, and we now have a report that NXT will be moved to Tuesday nights, according to the Mat Men Pro Wrestling podcast. The Twitter account of the podcast tweeted, "Hearing from a very reliable source that NXT will be moving to Tuesdays starting the 13th of April. Should be announced fairly soon." On top of this, the Wrestling Observer have also confirmed that it appears that the conversations over the move may be in the final stages, with the date of the switch again targeted to be April 13th, which means there would be 6 more head-to-head shows if you include tonight's tapings. These talks are said to have been going heavy for the last 7 days. Dave Meltzer also added that almost all key NXT personnel haven't been told about the move as of yet. This move would leave AEW Dynamite airing unopposed on Wednesday nights, which could lead to a huge increase of viewership for both shows. The move would, however, see NXT now go up against Impact Wrestling, who will likely see a strong decrease in viewership. AEW Dark also premieres on YouTube from 7 PM on a Tuesday, which would be 1 hour before NXT goes live. The show is typically 2 to 3 hours, so there will be some crossover there. The move will likely affect Dark less, with it being available instantly on demand on YouTube. WWE President Nick Khan, who is no relation to Tony, spoke of the NBC Sports Network closure in a recent WWE investors call, and did say that it would have no effect on Raw or NXT, which both air on USA, but it seems that he may have been very wrong. You can bet that if WWE are forced to move NXT, Vince McMahon and co will not be happy. McMahon is known to have a ruthless competitive streak and will probably feel that this is a public sign of weakness or defeat. WWE higher-ups will likely put in a fight to remain on Wednesday nights, but the decision could well be taken out of their hands.